So this idea that we have to go into a recession in order to have deflation is not really true, is it?
Not at all.
If we cut spending, if we deregulate the economy, if we stimulate the economy in a way that helps real people, small businesses and large businesses, but mostly real people to increase their wages, we can deal with these high prices, can't we?
That's exactly right.
Well, that's what I hope you gentlemen will do. Now, one way to get these high prices down, to reduce prices, not reduce inflation, reduce prices, would be to reduce the amount of federal spending. Isn't that true?
I think so, Senator.
Because that's how we got here, was with the massive amount of federal spending that President Biden perfected.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's your favorite patriot, and today we're diving into a video that has been causing quite a stir. We're talking about Senator John Kennedy grilling OMB nominee Dan Bishop on budget issues, specifically inflation, federal spending, and the ridiculous waste of our hard-earned taxpayer dollars. Buckle up because, as a right-wing patriot, I've got a lot to say about this one. So let's get right into it. Alright, right off the bat, Senator Kennedy lays it down. Parents are worried about high prices every night when they go to bed. And why? Because the cost of living is out of control. And folks, I'm telling you, it's not just about inflation. It's about the fact that inflation's been slowed down a bit, but prices are still going up. No one's talking about how we've been paying more for groceries, gas, housing, you name it. You can see it at the pump. You can feel it when you're filling your cart at the grocery store. Let me tell you something. This isn't just a political talking point. This is real life for everyday Americans. And we, as patriots, are tired of the politicians in Washington pretending like it's all under control when we're struggling just to keep up. This is the problem with big government. They print money and expect us to pick up the tab while they keep spending recklessly. Now here's where it gets good. Senator Kennedy points out something very important. There's a lot of confusion around disinflation and deflation. The politicians love to play these word games, don't they? They say, oh, inflation's down to 3%. That's good. But here's the kicker. They never say prices are still going up, just at a slower rate.
Senator Kennedy.
Congressman, when moms and dads lie down to sleep at night and can't, one of the things they're worried about is cost of living, high prices. Isn't that true?
Absolutely, certainly.
And those high prices were caused by inflation.
Yes,
is that
Senator.
right?
That's right.
And inflation has come down. That's a good thing, right?
It is a good thing, Senator.
But that just means when inflation has gone from 10% to 3%, that prices are rising less quickly. They're still rising, aren't they?
Yes, Senator.
That's called disinflation.
That's if they fall, that'd be disinflation. Yes, sir.
No. If the rate of inflation comes down, that's disinflation.
Oh, I beg your pardon. Okay.
If prices come down, that's deflation.
Yeah.
Now, most Americans, they don't read Aristotle every day. They're too busy earning a living. They don't know the difference between deflation and disinflation, but they sure as hell understand that the high prices have remained, don't they?
Yes, Senator.
We've got a lot of work to do around here.
Yes,
and
sir.
we need 4 years to do it. And we need a cooperative House and Senate to do it.
I agree,
If
Senator.
we don't get these high prices down, we're not going to have 4 years. We're going to have a divided Congress. You can write that one down and take it home to mama.
Yes, sir.
This election was about the economy, and people are still worried about these high prices. Now, one way to get these high prices down, to reduce prices, not reduce inflation, reduce prices, would be to reduce the amount of federal spending. Isn't that true?
I think so, Senator.
Because that's how we got here, was with the massive amount of federal spending that President Biden perfected. So if we can reduce the federal budget, we can reduce prices.
Yes, Senator.
That's one thing you and Mr. Vogt can do. Number two, if we deregulate, that'll reduce prices, won't it?
It will, Senator.
Why is that?
Because producers of goods and services in the economy face less cost, particularly less cost that waste money because they're not really accomplishing anything. They're just sort of chasing the regulatory wheel. Sort of
Well,
the hamster
hell
on the wheel.
yeah, we're spending, regulations cost the American business community $2 trillion a year. If we can cut that in half, they can pass and will pass the savings on to the American people.
Yes, sir.
Now, the third way we can get these high prices down, is it not, is to grow out of them,
Agreed.
stimulate the economy,
Certainly, the president intends to do that,
to
Senator. That's
raise
right.
wages.
Yes. Real wage gains.
So this idea that we have to go into a recession in order to have deflation is not really true, is it?
Not at all.
If we cut spending, if we deregulate the economy, if we stimulate the economy in a way that helps real people, small businesses and large businesses, but mostly real people to increase their wages, we can deal with these high prices, can't we?
That's exactly right.
Well, that's what I hope you gentlemen will do.
Well, we'll need
And
help from Congress.
and focus. I haven't heard enough about deregulation. I mean, I know these other issues that we're talking about are important, but that's the surest way
I can assure you, Senator,
in the
that it
short
is-
term while we're working on a reconciliation bill. The surest way is to deregulate and reduce the spending.
I can assure you that that is a focus that Director Vogt is focused on like a laser, and the efforts getting ready to get underway.
Yeah. Now, another question, quickly. Do you think we ought to be sending government checks to dead people?
No, Senator, I think that's poor management.
During the pandemic, we sent out $1.4 billion of checks to dead people, didn't we?
I don't have the figure, Senator, but I wouldn't be surprised by that, given everything.
And they were
that I said.
cashed, weren't they?
They generally get cash whether they're dead or not.
What does that tell you?
Somebody's live.
Yep. Now, Senator Carper and I passed a bill. It took us 2 years. To try to stop that, when you die, the state sends your name to the Social Security Administration. Your name goes on what's called the Death Master File.
Yes, sir.
I went to Social Security and I said, can I see the list? They said, sure. I said, who do you share this with? They said, nobody. We can't. We don't have statutory authority. So you don't share it with the do not pay folks at Treasury? They said, nope. It's against the law. Well, rather than argue with them, Senator Carper and I passed a bill. But believe it or not, to say Social Security, share the dead people list with the rest of government, for God's sakes. Put down the bone and share it with them. And believe it or not, we had opposition. So we had to agree to a 3-year trial period. That 3-year trial, we've saved a bunch of money. That 3-year trial period is up at the end of 2026. I've got another bill with Gary Peters to extend it, to make it permanent. You guys got any problem with that?
Well, Senator, I cannot speak for the president or for Director Vogt.
Oh, go ahead.
But I can't. It's hard for me to imagine who would be opposed.
Well, you'd be surprised.
No, sir. I wouldn't be surprised as it turns out, but I still can't imagine who would be opposed.
Okay. You going to follow the law?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You going to defy court orders?
No, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator.
Dead people have a very good lobby, apparently.
Let me tell you something. If you're still paying more for the same goods, that's not a victory, that's a slow burn. We should be talking about bringing prices down, not just slowing the increase. Americans don't need jargon or technical definitions. They want results. And the result we need is lower prices, not just slower price hikes. It's about getting back to a free market economy that doesn't keep punishing the American people with a bloated government and reckless spending. And here's the part one really love. Senator Kennedy absolutely nails it when he says that federal spending is the root cause of inflation. I mean, can we just be honest for a second? President Biden has perfected the art of spending money we don't have. This isn't just a little overspending, folks. This is a massive, out-of-control free-for-all with your tax dollars. Think about it. We're being told that inflation is down, but that's just a sleight of hand. The real issue is that the federal government is still running up the credit card bill, racking up trillions in debt while the American people are stuck with the consequences. And don't let them fool you into thinking this is some economic recovery. It's a disaster. Until we seriously cut federal spending, inflation will continue to eat away at your paycheck. Now let's talk about deregulation. Senator Kennedy points out that regulations are a massive burden on American businesses, $2 trillion a year to be exact. And you know what? He's absolutely right. The government has strangled businesses with red tape for decades. Small businesses can't thrive under these conditions, and even big companies are forced to spend billions on compliance rather than on innovation or passing savings on to you, the consumer. As a right-wing patriot, this is exactly what we've been saying for years. If we want lower prices, we need to stop this bureaucratic nonsense that doesn't do a thing to improve our lives but just eats up resources. It's time to cut the cords, remove the barriers, and let the free market work the way it was designed to. When businesses are free to grow and compete, that's when prices will come down and innovation will thrive. And here's another point that Senator Kennedy brings up, growing the economy. Some people say we need a recession to get inflation under control. But no. What we need is a strong economy where wages increase in a sustainable way. We need to support small businesses, the backbone of America, and we need to do that by lowering taxes, reducing regulations, and promoting job growth. I'm tired of hearing people say that we have to suffer to get things back on track. The American people deserve more than that. They deserve real wage growth, opportunities to climb the ladder, and an economy that works for them. If we cut the red tape, lower taxes, and stop the government from picking winners and losers, that's how we'll get real wage gains. Okay, let's talk about the real absurdity of government waste. Senator Kennedy brings up something absolutely insane. During the pandemic, the government sent out $1.4 billion in relief checks to people who were, you guessed it, dead. What does that tell you? It tells you that the government is running on autopilot, no checks, no accountability, just throwing money around like it grows on trees. And here's the thing, we all know that the government has been inefficient for years, but this is on a whole other level. This is straight up mismanagement of taxpayer money. And as a true patriot, that kind of waste makes my blood boil. We work hard for our money, and the last thing we should be dealing with is the government handing it out to the deceased like it's candy. Now, I've got to give Senator Kennedy credit here. He's been working on this issue with his bipartisan bill to make sure the government shares the death master file across agencies. What? So we stop paying people who are no longer with us. Simple, right? But apparently, some folks in Washington think it's too much of a hassle to make this process work properly. Folks, this is the kind of common sense approach we need more of in Washington. We need to get rid of the waste, fraud, and abuse that plagues our government. Why in the world would there be opposition to something so basic and logical? This is exactly why I say that Washington is broken. It's filled with people who don't care about results, they just care about their own power. Look guys, this video really highlights the mess that we're in. Senator Kennedy is right about so much of this, and it's time we all wake up to the reality that the government is the problem, not the solution. The way forward is clear. Cut spending, deregulate, and put the American people first. If we don't do that, the next few years are going to be even harder than the ones that came before. So what can you do as a patriot? Stay informed, stay engaged, and never stop fighting for what's right. Our country needs bold leadership, and it's up to us to demand it. If you're with me, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's keep this fight going. We've got a country to save. Until next time, God bless America and keep standing up for freedom.